we're just 2 wins away from the Premier League title. Welcome back to the Arsenal Humans podcast with me, Luce. I hope you're all doing okay. I feel like as an Arsenal fan this week, you know what? I don't even know how to word it, but I feel like this is exactly why I love and hate football all in one week, because obviously if you look at the women's side, there's so much negativity surrounding the club, but then you look at the men's side and it's like, okay, we have the chance of winning silverware. The women we don't, the men we do. It's so confusing, and even within their teams, there's so much positivity and momentum building the WSL, but then it's not enough to get it over the line and win that trophy this year. But then for the men's side, there's so much controversy, especially with that West Ham game. And you know what? There's a lot to talk about this episode. I was making some notes just before I started filming, and I honestly feel like I could have done about 3 or 4 episodes this week because there's so much to talk about. So I'm going to try and squeeze it into my normal 15-20 minute episode. So yeah, here goes. Let's try our best with this. Obviously, we have to talk about why every single fan is rattled right now. And that leads me nicely onto the warm-up poll, which is, was it a foul on David Raya? Because that West Ham game, obviously this is fresh. We literally just had it a couple of days ago on Sunday. Arsenal won 1-0. I'm going to talk about the game in a little bit more detail in about 5 minutes time, but just focusing on this VAR controversy, I feel like every media outlet has had their say. Everyone you talk to who supports Arsenal, who doesn't support Arsenal, in particular the people that don't support Arsenal, I feel like have had a massive say on this moment. And I kind of thought I'd just, give my opinion, add to the noise, because there is a lot. Looking at the poll results, 85% of you said yes, it is a foul. 15% of you said no. And one thing I actually find quite interesting is the fact that the people that said it's not a foul don't support Arsenal. So I appreciate anyone that has obviously got involved. If you want to get involved in future polls, I post them on the Arsenal Humans Instagram account, so go check that out every week. It'll be on a Monday or Tuesday, something like that, depending on how organised I am with the poll. It did crack me up because, ultimately for me, there was so much going on in the box. There was so much chaos that there probably could have been about 3 or 4 different fouls going on in that moment. But the one that obviously meant that West Ham's goal got disallowed, understandably, and in my opinion, I agree with the poll, in my opinion, it was a foul. It was a clear foul, because you can't put your arm around a goalkeeper. You can't restrict their arms from lifting up in the box. It's obviously a foul. And I feel like anyone that's saying it's not, there's this bias against Arsenal, and I hate this narrative, and I wish it wasn't true, but I feel like it is kind of quite obvious when you look at the people that are talking about this foul or not a foul or whatever, this VAR controversy. And I feel like, we've got to look into VAR a bit deeper, because obviously it's like, right, we had these problems before VAR, and now we're still having these problems with VAR. So it's like, what is the actual solution to obviously get rid of all these minor mistakes? People obviously complaining about how long it took. It took about 5 or 6 minutes. I didn't actually go to the game, so I don't know how tense it was, but I do feel like, a lot of people complaining with how long it took as well, but they came to arguably the right decision. So I don't really care how long it takes, but obviously if you're watching the game, it loses momentum and things like that. We know all the negatives to obviously having VAR, but a lot was happening in this, and I feel like, you know what, I'm just going to leave this to you guys to have your say in the comments, because for me it was a foul, and that's what the decision was. And I feel like there's so many decisions that have not gone Arsenal's way before during this season as well. So I feel like it is, it's very hit and miss with VAR, but that's sort of my take on it, and I want to hear your take. So let me know down in the comments below. And in the meantime, whilst you guys type away, let's go on to the whatever the weather section, because there's been a few headlines, but sadly this week, as much as I feel like the sun is slowly going down, because it's Monday evening as I'm recording this right now, sadly there's a lot of rain this week. Starting off with a headline that I literally heard about like an hour before recording this, which has broken my heart, and I know it's broken a lot of Arsenal fans' hearts. So let's get into the whatever the weather section now. Okay, so we've got to start with this rainy headline, because Beth Mead has decided to depart Arsenal after 9 years at the club. And you know what, when this came up, I just thought, no, this can't be real. As much as I saw Beth Mead had collabed, as much as I saw it was Arsenal who posted the video, I just thought, no. I know there were rumours of a lot of players that I've mentioned before. I've mentioned them at the fan zones. I've mentioned in these episodes weekly for the last couple of months about, Beth Mead is one of those names, one of those core players at Arsenal that has been rumoured. But I was like, is that actually going to happen? Because to me, she is Arsenal through and through. So the thought of her going to any other club is just so upsetting, so heartbreaking. I feel like she's been in so many key moments. But when you do think about the Women's World Cup is happening next summer, she'll need more game time. And obviously at Arsenal, her position is so competitive, which is so good for our squad, but sadly it means that there's not enough room for everyone and we have to stick with the best players. And it does look like, I mentioned in last week's episode, we've got the likes of Holmberg, we've got the likes of Olivia Smith, this new generation of players and this new era coming through. We've got contract extensions with Williamson and with Steiner, we've got Kim Little still at the club as well. It does feel like this is kind of going to be a fusion of the old and the new, but sadly Beth Mead has not made it into this new era that we're about to enter, and it is really upsetting. It's just heartbreaking because I feel like she's given so much to the club and she's given so much to the fans. And you know what, I'm in a few group chats and everyone's been having their say, basically expressing how sad they are about this. And the thing for me, I'm so sad that she's leaving us because she has been so key for us, but what makes me even sadder is the thought of her likelihood. It's inevitable that she'll go to City, and that is obviously a rival club, and that is just, I don't know. I think it would basically be how City had to now see Chloe Kelly back in an Arsenal shirt. That sort of like adjustment that you've got to make, that's something that I think a lot of us Arsenal fans, whenever we play that game next season, obviously it's not confirmed that she's going to City, but it looks pretty likely. Whenever it's Arsenal versus City, we're all just going to be like, wow. It's basically going to be the same as obviously her partner, Viv Mead, who... that was so heartbreaking to see her leave, and obviously that was a completely different situation because I feel like the vibe of obviously the manager wasn't the same. But anyways, I had to obviously sadly start with this news. Moving on to the second headline of the week, we obviously have to highlight our goalkeeper because not only obviously has he already been mentioned in my warm-up poll and mentioned a lot in the media right now for that foul, not a foul, whatever you want to call it. Obviously, in my opinion, I think it was a foul. But we have to highlight how good he's been across this whole season because David Raya has won the Golden Glove for this season. He's done it before and I'm sure he'll probably end up doing it again. So yeah, he's one of the best and I'm so happy that he wears an Arsenal shirt and wears the Arsenal badge. The final headline, sadly it's a rainy one again. It's not really anything specific, like it's not a player leaving, a player doing well or anything like that. It's just looking at the women's side as a whole because I came to the realisation when I was planning this episode that Arsenal women can't win any silverware this season, and that honestly broke me because I think as someone who has supported Arsenal since the age of 10, the women's side, and then started supporting the men's side after, it was because the women were known for obviously being such a great team that would always win things as well. And obviously in recent years, like last year we won the Champions League, before that we'd consistently win at least the League Cup, like we always were able to get some sort of silverware. There's been very few seasons I feel like since I've been supporting Arsenal that the women's side haven't got silverware, and that's why it's just like crazy that at this moment where there's so much excitement with the men's side that they could win the Champions League for the first time, it's like, oh my god, the women aren't going to win anything this season. So yeah, that was quite heartbreaking to come to that realisation. A bit of a numb feeling, I feel like, to end it. And you know what, sadly, we're going to have to look at what this means and how we actually got to this stage by reflecting on the games this week. We actually had 4 games, and I did predict 4 wins. Sadly, obviously the one that meant that we can't win the WSL ended up in a draw, but 3 wins is still something, it's still better than nothing. So let's look at those games now because there's a lot for me to cram in, the next 5-10 minutes. So I'm going to try and just briefly summarise my views of what happened in the game so you can do the same in the comments below. Okay, so the first one, which now honestly feels like ages ago, was Arsenal 1, Atletico Madrid 0, and I did predict it to be a 2-0 win. Either way, I just wanted progression, and that is exactly what has happened, and that's all thanks to Saka. I feel like I mentioned it in last week's episode. We needed him to peak, we needed him to come back into form because he had a little bit of a dip recently, and that is exactly what he did, and it's just so good that this is the time he's decided to, come back to his exceptional form and be there and obviously find the net and show up when we needed him to. I feel like he was also able to do this because, as I mentioned the last couple of weeks, we had Rice in that number 6 role, and I felt like that provided a lot of stability. The fact that Arteta trusted a 19-year-old in Miles Lewis-Skelly to play as well, because we had that stability and that support from Rice behind him. I feel like there was a lot in this game that we can obviously give credit to Arteta, give credit to the players, and it just felt like the players wanted it. Honestly, I wasn't at this game, but I kind of wish I was because, I really, really wish I was because it just looked like, honestly, such good scenes. It looked so good. And one more, and the men have won the Champions League for the first time because they've never done it. So yeah, it would just honestly be so good. one thing, just a quick message that I wanted to mention when talking about this first game. I just want to send a quick message to the celebration police. Whoever you are out there, if you're listening to this, watching this, however you're accessing these words right now, I know it's not done yet, but honestly, this is how it should feel. This is how it should feel to support a club. For the players, for the staff, for the fans, this is how it should feel. And the fact that people are like, nah, stop celebrating, stop putting all these fireworks, stop doing all of this. It's just frustrating because I'm like, but what's the point? Like, as in, there's going to be so many clubs that haven't won silverware recently, or haven't won much silverware in their history. And it's like, give them their moment, give them their time to shine. I think ultimately, I'm obviously excited to see what the final looks like, because if this is what we do in the semi-finals to secure the spot in the finals, then honestly, I'm so excited to see what happens in the final. I wish I was out in Budapest, so anyone that's going out there, hope you have the best time. Obviously, we now know it's against PSG as well. And yeah, it's just really exciting. So yeah, honestly, I feel like this is how a football community should be reacting. We should be supporting the players. I don't even think it's that over the top. I think obviously, I'm not really sure how we're going to be able to top it in the final. Obviously, we'll have a parade as well. It just makes me so excited for the potential of the parade, for the potential of the boys getting over the line for the first time in their history. It would just be so good. So yeah, let's manifest that and just stop ruining other people's celebrations. It just doesn't make sense to me. Just be happy for your club. Stay in your own lane. Focus on your own club. Stop projecting onto us Arsenal fans, because honestly, I wish I was there in that moment because it looked so fun. Moving on to a moment that I actually am happy that I wasn't there for. Brighton won. Arsenal won. It's in the WSL, and I kind of predicted it to be a 3-2 win. I thought it would be a close game, like we knew it would be, because Brighton have come into some mad form recently. Obviously, they drew to City, they've drawn to United. They obviously beat us recently as well, and now they've obviously drawn to us in the WSL. I actually turned on the TV at half-time, and I suddenly went, 1-0, yep, I want to turn the TV off straight away, because I was like, how has this happened? Obviously, because of this result, because we didn't get it over the line, it meant that we had no chance of getting that WSL title this season. So Man City have already won it, which, I don't know, it feels really premature for them to have already had their celebrations, which was plastered all over social media. But I mean, fair, because I feel like Arsenal would do exactly the same if we won it. I mean, it's obviously sad that it's come to this point that this game has decided that we're now not going to win the title. But when you think about it, it's not actually this game that has decided it. It's the draw that we had against United earlier on the season. It's the draw in the North London derby at the very start of the season. It's even that draw against Villa, which I feel like will haunt us Arsenal fans. It's all of these 2 points that we've dropped in multiple games, and it's just crushing, because we know that it's overtime and all these little problems that we feel like are covered up when we suddenly get like a 7-0 win or a 5-0 win or a 5-2 win or whatever we've had recently. It kind of doesn't really cover the cracks too much when you look at certain moments and you're like, oh, you didn't really get it over the line then. So obviously there's just quite a negative feeling around the WSL and around the women's game, which kind of is understandable when we know we can't win anything, but we are still within the chance of coming second, which is exactly what we were proving when we played Villa at the weekend. This was the third game of the week for Arsenal. I feel like there's so many games. Third week was Aston Villa 0, Arsenal 3, and I did predict it to be a 2-0 win, so it's actually probably my closest prediction recently. Pretty dominant performance from us. I mean, we probably could have done with that midweek. I just feel like everyone's going to talk about Russo because of the goal she got, and honestly, Russo was on fire as always, but for me, I felt like the thing that stood out for me in that game was her assist. The way that she took it out her feet and then played it into Mornham. It's something we see so often from her, just being selfless in those spaces, being able to hold up the play. And that's why I think it works really well when she's got more people supporting her up top as well. So yeah, obviously have to spotlight Russo, obviously have to spotlight Mornham. Mornham also did actually get a goal in that previous game, I forgot to mention, but obviously, sadly it wasn't enough. And I do feel like we have to get second place now. There's no other option. We have to get second place. It'll be great to come above Chelsea. Obviously, they're the ones that have sort of been the reigning champions over the last few years in the WSL. So it'd be great to just come above them, secure that Champions League football, and ultimately, this is kind of the start of a new era, as a lot of people are saying. Change is going to be inevitable. We've already seen Beth Mead leave the club, who is such a core, pivotal player for us. And going into the last couple of games of the season, I feel like, yeah, she'll definitely get her flowers that she deserves. But I just feel like, yeah, it just felt a bit anticlimactic, but I think we definitely responded from that Brighton game well in that Villa game. Obviously, not enough to get it over the line, but second place, we will take it. For the men, I think if we came second now in the league, I actually don't even know what would happen, but I don't really feel like we're going to have to think about that. Not to get ahead of myself, but it was West Ham 0, Arsenal 1, predicted to be a 3-1 win, and we all knew it was going to be a tough game. We all knew it wouldn't be pretty whatsoever. And I mean, the drama that I obviously explained at the top of this episode in the warm-up poll kind of showed that with the controversy, but either way, we came away with the 3 points. Ødegaard stepped up, which is a player that I feel like, the same way with Saka, he had a lot of criticism, understandably, because his form had dipped off a bit, but this game, he really showed up, and he's basically got one hand on that trophy, which is so, so exciting. Also, I feel like a lot of people are spotlighting Raya's save, which I don't think was that amazing compared to what Raya has been able to pull off this season. Obviously, he got his body down, he made his body big, but I felt like the striker obviously just hit it basically straight at him. But what that save meant, it kept us in the title race. So I think for that alone, this is one of the best saves he's done this season, but not in terms of what the actual save looked like or how he actually stopped the ball from going in the net, but more so what it actually means to our season, because we're just 2 wins away from the Premier League title, which is insane. It's actually insane. So I kind of want to end it on that. I feel like that was such a quick, brief run through of the 4 games this week. Obviously, let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, and let's look ahead to the 3 games that we're playing this week, because I mean, one literally kicks off tomorrow evening, so it is so quick. There's so much football and we want to end the season on a high, so let's, fingers crossed, hope we can do that. Okay, I'm going to keep this prediction section as brief as I can because I feel like I've been waffling on a lot. I know there is a lot to talk about in terms of Arsenal this week. Probably should have done another few episodes if I had the time and if I could, because there is so much to cram into just one episode. But looking ahead to tomorrow night, we have Arsenal versus Everton. We're at the Emirates. It's the last game that I will be seeing in person at the stadium this season because we're in the WSL. It's at 7 p.m, so I'm going to have to quickly rush from work, but I'm super excited to go. I feel like it should be a 2-0 win. I feel like we want to end this season on a high, so I'm hoping we can do that. And I'm hoping this momentum carries on over to the weekend, because on Saturday at 1 p.m, we have our final game of the season, which actually feels crazy that we're already at this point. It's versus Liverpool. It's up at Anfield. Looks like a pretty good game. I think it's going to be a 3-0 win, and I think that means we're going to definitely secure the second spot based off points and goal difference as well. It's actually insane that we're already getting to the last games of the season for the teams. Obviously, the women's are this week, the men's will be next week. I'm going to have to look back at the predictions I made in both August, and I think I've re-evaluated them around December time. So I'm going to have to look at both of those videos. Obviously, you guys can get ahead and see what I predicted, but I'll take a look at them over the next few weeks and then share my thoughts on the season as a whole. But it just feels mad that we're already getting to the end of the season. For the men, though, we still have another 3 games to play. 3 games. That is it. It's actually crazy. The women have 2, the men have 3 games. It's Arsenal versus Burnley, which is on Monday. Kind of interesting. I feel like we haven't really played a Monday. Maybe we've played 1 or 2 Monday games this season. I don't know. But either way, it's on Monday at 8 p.m. in the Premier League. I'm going to go with a 2-0 win because it's against Burnley. I don't feel like we'll go with our strongest side because we want to save them, obviously, for the last game of the season against Palace, and then, obviously, that final against PSG. So, yeah, I feel like it's going to be a busy couple of weeks. A lot is going to be decided in the next couple of weeks, which is actually kind of crazy. But as always, thanks for watching it to this point. If you enjoyed it, make sure you subscribe, like, comment any thoughts based off the season as a whole. And I'll be back on Tuesday with another episode. And we're going to get some fan zone episodes. And I'm going to reflect on the season as a whole. So, yeah, there's going to be a lot of videos coming out of the Arsenal Humans podcast over the next month. So make sure you stay tuned.